Honorable Fasra Barry. I knew him personally, and he really treated me as like a son. He never really called me by my name. He actually called me by my father's nickname. I wouldn't say it there, but because he and my father played cricket together. So every time I meet him, he would have a long story to tell me some jokes about my dad. So I remember him with, affection. He was a jovial and a good person. Yes, may his soul rest in peace. I would like to also extend my deepest sympathies to our Deputy Speaker and the family of the late Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, Speaker Emerita. I mean, so many things were said, positive things, which are all true. But for me, she's like almost like you're looking at a movie and you end up in the movie. Because I knew about her way before I met her. Because her daughter and I work at Colgate Palmolive together, that's Amber. Together at Patrick Pemberton. She would be hanging out after work, socializing. She would always talk about her mom. And then I met Andy. She spoke about her mom. And then I met Alex Boyd Knight, Honorable. But interestingly is how I met her. When I came to Parliament, remember many things were said about her. But then I came in with respect because I saw her as a mother figure. And therefore, when I came in, and everybody in Dominica knows that I was on the opposition side at the time, and the opposition previously was very aggressive in regards to her. But I took a different approach, and it was because of my relationship with her family. I saw her as a mother figure, so I came with respect. And as you tell you, and the opposition members always used to say, but what you give Honorable Speaker to drink now, she just love you every time you are right. But what they did not know, I used to go to her, reason with her, understanding orders. Always with respect. So I think we have really lost a distinguished Dominican intellect and pioneer who really championed the cause of women and children rights. She was multi-talented in the area of law, horticulture, culinary arts, culture. She never stopped talking about jacaranda plant, and we'll debate on it, whether it was poisonous, whether it's the best thing to plant, but she always won the debate. Because when I go and do research, when I come back, I agree with her. Something I used to, every time we interact, I would say, but madam, how comes you know all that? Where you get that? She used to say, let's be pack away to sell it. Meaning that you interact and you do your research and you learn over time. So I would like to tell all members, remember, knowledge does not stay in one head. So just remember that what she always used to say is a long time term that we use in Dominica, but she always used to mention that. For me, I think that she has impacted on me personally in terms of transfer of her knowledge, her experience. I think she was an excellent coach and a teacher. And I think all of us in Dominica should be proud of a great Dominican champion. You see, the speaker job is a difficult job in a small island state because people picking sides and developing their perception of a person on the basis of which political party they support. But that is wrong. If you really knew the person, you would really feel real sad on her passing. I knew her, and I knew her very closely. So for me, it is a touching moment. I always think of her. I think of Peps. That's how she used to call her grandson there, our deputy speaker. So all of us, let us remember who she was in a positive way. Because all of us have weaknesses. But let me tell you, she was a great, great, great Dominican. I'd like to extend once more sympathies, deepest sympathy to the family and friend of the late Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, Speaker Emerita.
Announcements by Speaker.
Yeah, I would like to first of all just announce that we received several or many communications of condolences in regards to the passing of our late Honorable Alex Boyd Knight from different regional speakers of House and Parliament. Also, I would like to just announce I received some letters from members of this Honorable House. We received a letter from the Honorable Greta Roberts seeking absence, permission to be absent. She's on official business, so permission is granted. We also receive letters from Senator Delbert Paris and Senator Henderson Reed. Permission is also granted.
In respect to the messages of condolence that you've received, may I suggest that they be submitted and they form part of the records of the House?
It has been moved and seconded that the messages of condolences received should be part of the House, recorded as part of the House proceedings. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Now, I have to inform the House that I have to deal with a matter relating to the election of a president and the constitutional position as it relates to these announcements that I'm making. I've received a letter from the Honorable Prime Minister, which I shall read. This is the letter there. It says that, Dear Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Section 19.3 of the Commonwealth of Dominican Constitution Order 1978, I hereby inform you that the Leader of Opposition and I have been unable to agree on a joint nominee of a candidate for election as President. Signed, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister. Now, there are certain provisions connected with such a procedure. And we take that from Section 19 of the Constitution of Dominica. Actually, it starts at Section 18, which reads, under Section 1 in 18, it reads, there shall be a president of Dominica who shall be elected by the House and shall hold office for a term of 5 years. That's Section 18.1. Section 18.2 goes to say that the president shall have such function as are prescribed by this Constitution and such additional functions, if any, as may be prescribed by Parliament. And then there is a proviso which reads, and I quote, open quote, provided that no such additional functions shall be conferred upon him without his consent, signified by writing under his hand addressed to the Speaker. Section 19 says, that is 19.1, says that whenever the office of President is vacant or the term of office of the President is due to expire within not more than 90 days, the Prime Minister shall consult with the Leader of Opposition as to the joint nomination of a suitable candidate for election as President. 19.2 says, if the Prime Minister and the Leader of Opposition submit to the Speaker by writing under their hands a joint nomination of a candidate for election as President to which that candidate has consented, the Speaker shall inform the House of the nomination and declare that candidate to have been duly elected without putting the question to a vote. But question 19.3 says, if the Prime Minister is unable to agree with the Leader of Opposition as to their joint nomination of a candidate for election as President, he shall notify the Speaker to that effect, and the Speaker shall inform the House accordingly, which is what I'm really doing right now. I've just done that. Now, Section 19.4 says, the Prime Minister or the Leader of Opposition or any free members of the House may, during the period expiring 14 days after the day on which the House has been so informed, submit to the Speaker by writing under their hands nominations of candidates for election as President, and the Speaker shall, at the first meeting of the House, after the expiration of that period and before the House proceeds to any other business, inform the House of the nominations he has received and to which the candidates concerned have consented. But Section 19.5 says, an election of the President at which the candidates shall be those of whose nomination the House has been informed by the Speaker shall thereafter be held at the meeting of the House referred to in subsection 4 that I just referred to of this section. Or if proceedings under Section 22 of this Constitution, that is the Dominica's Constitution, are pending before the Court of Appeal at a meeting of the House held as soon as practicable after those proceedings, the Speaker shall declare the candidate who has at that election received votes of the majority of all the members of the House to have been duly elected. But there is a proviso, and it reads, open quote, provided that when the question of election of the President is put to the vote shall be given by ballot in such a manner as not to disclose how any particular member of the House votes, end of quote. And there is a section, that is section 5A. 5A says, where the only candidate for election under subsection 5 of this section does not receive the votes of a majority of all members of the House, the Speaker shall inform the House accordingly, and a new election shall be held to which the provisions of subsection 4 and 5 of this section shall, and there is a terminology, and they use it they call it mutatis mutandis. It applies, meaning really that in Latin, the conversion of that is, if you have many other things dealing with, the basic point remains the same. Now, if we go to section 6, where a person consents to be nominated for election as President, he shall do so by writing under his hand, addressed to the Speaker. And section 7, remember that's 19.7, says a person who has been declared to have been duly elected under this section shall assume office as such on the day after the day on which his predecessor vacates the office or the office of President, or if that office is already vacant, he shall assume office on the day after the day on which he was declared to have been duly elected. This, therefore, is my information to members, and I'm asking the members to take heed of section 19.4, which I'm not going to read again, but take heed of 19.4. And this nomination shall be brought to the House, to the clerk for further processing for an election for the President. If there are no questions, I will proceed to the next item.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, just for clarity, I think whilst the nominations can be provided to the clerk, it must be addressed to the Speaker. Yes. That's what subsection 4 says. Yes. It's to the Speaker. So
yes, correct.
For administrative purposes, perhaps it can be delivered to the clerk, but it must be addressed to the Speaker. And it must also, I would suggest, be accompanied by the written consent of the nominee, because the Speaker will have to provide that in due course.
Yes, again, correct. Any questions? Any clarification needed? Okay, so we proceed to our next agenda item. Oh, AG?
Just a reminder, the 14 days, I think that should be made clear for everybody. That's 14 days. But I think it's also, it doesn't say so there, but the general approach is 14 clear days. So I don't know how you wish to deal with it. But anyways, 14 days, those who wish to nominate have 14 days.
Yes.
From today, we wish to do that.
Yes. Correct. Any clarification? Okay. We may proceed to the next point on the order paper.
Well, only to say, Mr. Speaker, I have my candidate. I do not know for other people. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House be adjourned, sign aye.
Move second, Mr. Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the House be adjourned, sign the die. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Mr. Speaker.